Good evening, Fernwood. It is your multifaceted Mysterian Neil here, and it's time for us to investigate another episode of Mary Hartman. Today we are watching episode 194 from December 30th, 1976. Let's take a look at yesterday's brutal episode. Tom was at work looking for some kind of short-term loan when enters Mr. Donnelly, the owner of the RV lot. Mr. Donnelly suggests that people like Tom, but that he's hard selling just a bit too much and that's dropping his sales, and that he would hate that if the sales dropped so much that he'd have to fire Tom, after which Tom experiences a moment of despair. Over at the Adamses, Kathy and Brian are planning for the pregnancy while Christine introduces her father, who thinks that Kathy is a friend of the maid and is very judgmental of a single mother-to-be. He compares Kathy to Christine, saying that Christine really is radiant, while Christine somehow is able to convince her father that she really is pregnant. Kathy gets up and leaves in disgust, and the father and daughter share a moment of excitement after that. It's late night in the Hartman bedroom when Tom gets a call. It's Maya Linsky, with whom he had an affair last year, saying that she is returning to Fernwood next week. Mary wakes up and says that she's relieved to find out that it's May and not some creditor. She asks Tom what's worrying him, and it's not the money at this moment, but that he has found the survey that all of the housewives have been filling out in the neighborhood. Tom feels somewhat insulted that Mary has not answered the question about whether she's had an orgasm. Mary says she's unsure if she's even had one. Mary professes that she loves Tom, and they go to bed. And then Tom comes to Mary with an amorous embrace. And then lastly, a terrified Pat is on the phone. She has finally called the police to address the domestic abuse she has been getting from Garth. When Garth comes in, he offers to buy some tickets to the policeman's ball, and the officers separate the married couple. The policeman talking to Pat says that he can't be arrested for more than 4 hours, and that Pat's only recourse is to talk to her husband. As the police leave, Garth drops his facade and gets even angrier. And as Garth leaves, he tells Patty he would not think twice about killing her, and he doesn't care about his own life either. And everyone, that was yesterday's very painful episode. We are coming up on New Year's Eve, so maybe things will be a bit more festive. Let's find out what happens.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman! You know what makes life worth living, Charlie?
What?
It's just the little things, just a mere teensy little thing like just handing you your lunch pail. I don't know what it is. It's just pure magic.
Everything you do is magic to me, sweetheart. It's all pure angel magic.
Oh, Charlie, I've missed you so much. It just seems like you was gone 100 years or something.
Well, I'm home now, and I do not intend to leave for the rest of my natural life.
You sure you don't want any breakfast?
Honey, I haven't got time, really. I got to get down to that bus station. That bus for Dayton, that sells out. That's a crowded bus, and they stopped selling tickets. Now, I want you to get a ticket, honey, because if you miss that bus to Dayton for your recording session, we'll really be in trouble.
I can't believe it, Charlie. Can you? My very own record. My first album. I mean, just think of it. Loretta Haggers live at the Capri Lounge.
You know what I'm sorry about, sweetheart?
What?
That I ain't coming with you. That really bothers me, but I don't know, honey. I just got in under the wire, and this is my first week back at work, and
Charlie, come on, are you sure? I mean, honey, I thought you was going to ask him if maybe you couldn't just have a few days off.
Well, Sue hired a producer, and they don't want me in the booth, honey. And it's Sue's money. I think we ought to do it their way. And, honey, all the time I've been off work, I think I'd lose my job.
Charlie, I got a question. I mean, it just popped in my head, and I got to ask it to you.
What?
See, if I am going to, in fact, be the superstar as a result of this album that we know the good Lord intends for me to be,
Yeah.
then what's so important about that little old job of yours at the plant?
Well, I think that, what I mean, honey, is, suppose this is not the big break that we've been planning for. Now, honey.
Charlie, what do you mean?
I know, and you know I know that you are going to be a superstar. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But, I mean, suppose this is not the big chance that we've been waiting for. I really think I ought to keep my job.
I'm acting terrible, aren't I? Yeah, I'm acting terrible. See, honey, I know that you know the best, and you know what you're doing and everything, so just whatever you say, baby boy.
That's my little prom queen. That's who that is.
Oh, my gosh, in Brazil, sounds like we're getting attacked or something.
I'll be gone. Look at all that skywriting. Wow.
What is that? Foreplay
Is fair play.
fair play. That's, they have been trying to write that up there for 3 days, and it never does quite get out, because the wind whisks it away every time and whatever.
Honey, what in the hell is foreplay?
I've been thinking that precisely. Let's just look it up.
Sounds like what a baseball pitcher does in the bullpen.
Dictionary here. Yes, I know what you mean. It's like, you mean before playing.
Yeah, right.
EF. Right there. There it is. Wait, no. Foreplay, okay.
Doesn't have a hell of a lot to do with baseball, does it? Honey,
Gosh.
we've been doing that all our married life. We just never knew what to call it.
Now, see? Right there. Right there. That is the man I married. That's the kind of guy I got hooked up to. Mm-hmm. See, Charlie, what this says is, you're ordinary Joe. All he cares about is pleasing himself. But not my little old Charlie.
Don't you do that to me. I got to get to breakfast. I'm not even going to get any breakfast. I got to get to that plant, honey. We don't want you missing that bus to Dayton for your first superstar album. We don't.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll
tell you what I'll do. I'll bring the ticket back to you at lunch hour.
Okay. And then I'll pack and I'll straighten everything up and we'll have us a little going away party at lunchtime.
I'm going to miss you so much. I'm just going to purely miss the dickens out of you.
You know what? We better quit this kissing or you're never going to get out of here. You know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean. Doggies! Your first record album!
Not my first record. Our first record. True. Now, my name is going to be up there, twinkling in the neon lights and all, but, honey, you're going to be just as big a superstar as I am. Because you know what they say? Behind every great woman, there's a great man.
You always hurt the one you love, the one you shouldn't hurt at all. I got you with her.
Did you lose something in that goop?
No, Grandpa, I'm just making George some turkey salad.
May I ask why you're picking the turkey out of it?
Oh, don't you know why? George is a vegetarian now, and he wanted turkey, turkey salad, but he said to hold the turkey. Oh, I wish that the programmer would get here. Reverend Standfast recommended him very highly because George is getting worse than ever. You hear what I mean?
No, Martha, ever since George came back, I feel like living under the bells of St. Mary's.
Oh, that must be the deprogrammer now and not a minute too soon. Oh, Oh. Oh.
You called for me, Mrs. Shumway?
If I think you are who I think you are, yes.
I'm Montgomery Monk.
Oh, good. You have arrived just in time. He is in his final stages.
Don't you worry, Mr. Shumway. Together we'll beat this thing.
I am not Mr. Shumway.
Of course you're not. He's trying to repress his previous identity.
Listen, you crackpot. I am not now, and I have never been George Shumway.
This is more serious than I thought.
Well,
It may not be easy, Mrs. Shumway.
Well, that is not my husband. You see, that is my father.
Here comes Tinkerbell now.
I think I am allergic to that incense. Oh, Lord. And those awful, awful bells. I think it's recess around here all the time.
Oh, the Bogaziti sect use the bell as a symbol of life. The high bell ringer is the founder of the sect, Bogus Rishi. He's a handsome Eurasian from Elizabeth, New Jersey. He's their new messiah.
Oh, well, is he Jewish?
Tell me, Mrs. Shumway, is your husband uncommunicatable?
Oh, yes, very.
He was born that way.
Does he wander around in a drug-like state?
Yes, and he keeps asking for something that they call quaaludes.
Oh, yes, of course. That's the main food of the Bogaziti.
Well, can you get that at the Federated?
It's like keeping a camel in the house.
They say cats go deaf from those little bells they wear around their collars. You don't think George is going deaf, do you?
Mrs. Shumway, this is not going to be pleasant. I must be alone with your husband through the entire process. Ignore whatever you may see or hear. At no cost must I be disturbed. I'm going to deliver him.
Will you need any hot water or towels?
No, just a package of ho-hos when I take a break.
Oh, Grandpa, I am so afraid.
Oh, I see nothing to worry about, Martha. While this monk is deprogramming George, it might be our big chance to reprogram into something useful.
Oh.
You're really stupid. You know that, Pat? Did you think the police were going to be on your side?
I didn't think it was a question of sides. I thought it was a question of right or wrong.
Oh, that's exactly what it is, Pat. I'm right and you're wrong.
Garth, I'm sorry I called the police, but sometimes you get so crazy, and I'm really scared, and I think you're gonna kill me.
What an awful thing to say to your husband. Honest to God. Sometimes I wonder why I put up with you.
Sometimes I wonder why we put up with each other.
Hey, listen. Don't get clever, Pat. There's something really disgusting about you when you try to be clever.
Hi. Hi. I heard a crash as I was passing by. Big Garth didn't trip over you, did he?
Oh, no. Come on in, Mary.
Oh. So is everything okay?
Just wonderful.
Good. That's good. I brought over a magazine, for you to loan in case you found yourself without anything to read. Pat, over 200,000 American husbands beat their wives. And I don't mean at pinochle.
200,000.
Now listen to me. Just in case. This is a just in case in the future, someday, everything here, isn't so wonderful. Like, just in case you should accidentally bang your head on the furniture or your husband, I just want you to know that you and Philip will always have a place to stay with me.
Oh, Mary, thank you. I really appreciate your offer, but I'll be just fine here.
You'll be fine?
Yeah.
Pat, can I ask you a personal question? It is true that Garth has been...
Go ahead, Mary. Say it.
No, you say it.
Garth has been... He sometimes hits me a little.
It's fine. Could I ask you another question?
Certainly, Mary, you are one of my dearest friends.
Why?
What do you mean?
Why do you stay here?
Are you implying that you don't feel I'm safe with Garth?
Farthest thing from my mind.
Now, Mary, look. Now, listen. Garth is my husband. And the trouble is that right now he's got a little too much male violence in him and he's feeling a little inadequate and low.
You mean in the bedroom?
Oh, no.
No?
No. It's the job. It's hard for a man when he's master of his home not to be master of the whole rest of the whole world.
That's funny. I never noticed that.
Mary, I am really touched by your concern.
You got it. Oh, and Pat, I really want you to know that you always have a place to stay with me and Tom.
Thanks, but I don't think it would be a good idea for you to get involved. Garth is very unpredictable now, and I wouldn't want you to get caught in the middle. But you're very sweet and very understanding.
I know. Pat, I have one last suggestion for you, okay? The next time Garth hits you,
Yeah.
bite him.
I don't know, Mary. Violence always increases violence. But I'll think about it.
Well, good. Listen, I have to go now because I have to go see Ma. Daddy's exorcism seems to be taking a lot out of her. It's funny, it just doesn't seem to be taking anything out of him. But anyway, I gotta go, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Mary!
Just remember, the best medicine for a bully is a very big bite. Mosquitoes do it all the time. Bye, Pat.
Mary, thank you!
Well, what the hell did Heidi want? And how could you let anyone in here until you cleaned this mess up? Where's your pride, Pat? No wonder people laugh at us behind our backs. Well, what did she want?
Oh, she wanted a cup of sugar.
A cup of sugar? That went out with Donna Reed. You're lying to me, Pat. Now, what did she tell you? Huh? Huh?
Well, nothing. Would you stop pushing me?
Oh, now you've done it, kiddo. Damn it! This is my favorite shirt. You're really gonna pay for this. Now, what were you two talking about?
We were talking about biting you, but I didn't like the idea.
Oh.
Hi. I like me a straight cherry fizz on the rocks and put a rush on it because I'm just about ready to leave for
Yes,
the bus
ma'am.
for Dayton.
Now hear this. Bus number 202 for Dayton will be delayed a few minutes for repairs. Trans-Ohio Buses is sorry to keep you waiting, honest to God.
Well, there, now that I've got a few extra seconds, should I read about Donny Osmond poisoned or the nightmare that will haunt Jack Nicholson always? The woman he loved died penniless and calling his name. I think I'll read about Jack.
Oh, excuse me. Hey, we met before. I've seen you someplace. You're an actress, ain't you?
No, I'm not.
Well,
No.
what, local talent, maybe?
Yeah, I live here in Fernwood.
I know it. I know it all the time. The Starlight Club, second show, third from the left, red sequin outfit, great legs. Huh? I never can remember her face, but I never forget a body.
I'm not a dancer. I'm a singer at the Capri Lounge.
Oh, singer, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I bet you can belt them out real good, too. The name's Jake. Jake Walters.
Loretta Haggers. Mrs. Loretta Haggers. Mrs.
Mrs. Loretta Haggers.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. You see, I'm a photographer, and I specialize in photographing beautiful women. You know, pictures. I got a whole wall just covered with them, and I'd like to do yours.
That's real sweet of you, but see, I'm getting ready to go to Dayton. I'm gonna do my very first record album. It's country and western music, you know, of pain and misery and everything like that. And I personally do not need the publicity, but I appreciate it and thank you very, very much.
Oh, fine and dandy, fine and dandy. How's about if I just buy you a drink? How about that?
I have a cherry fizz already. Thanks.
Hey, I just remembered. I'm going all the way to Fairview. Now, that goes right through Dayton. I can give you a ride. You know what I mean? I know all the shortcuts. Plus, I got a Nash Rambler with let-down seats. You can just stretch right out while I drive.
I do already have all of my travel arrangements previously set. Thank you.
Now, look, listen to me. I want to talk real straight to you now. I know a married gal don't often get out a couple of days, you know what I mean? To let her hair down and have a good time. Now, I got plenty of cash. We can have us a good time and just I can get some good pictures out of it. And you won't have to ride on the bus with a bunch of creeps.
Bus number 202, bound for Dayton, is now boarding.
Please.
All passengers, please come to the front gate.
Now, wait a minute.
my bus right now, and I'm really not
let me just say one more thing.
no,
now.
let me just-
Look, honey, Innocence went out in the 60s. Cheap is in now.
How dare you, sir?
Hey,
I'm not
hey!
interested in this.
This
Do you
man
hear
bothering
me?
you, lady?
Butt out, Clyde.
He is.
Come on, guys,
Now,
no
wait a minute, I just
problems.
wanna
The
talk
bouncer's
to you.
on vacation.
Yeah.
I can
Hey,
go
you're
get my
bugging the lady.
Out of this
bus.
punk.
You're bugging the lady. Let go of
Stand
her.
over here a minute, baby.
Okay, y'all stop this.
Yes, stand over.
Be Christian.
You done it.
Y'all be
You done-
Christian. Come on.
Ah!
Love thy neighbor. Turn the other cheek. Y'all stop this. Oh, now, you hear
Out of
me?
my way.
Seriously.
Scratch your head open.
Seriously. Now, I'm not
I'll
kidding.
go kill you.
I want you to stop.
Lady, you okay? Lady? This is how they do it in the movies. My God, it works.
You okay? You okay, honey? Hey, you're a tiger. Do you know that? Come on, get up.
Bus number 202, now departing for Dayton. Last call.
You don't have to take no bus now, Ms. Haggers.
What bus? Who's Miss Haggers?
Miss Haggers? I don't know who Miss Haggers is, but we're gonna sure find out. Now, you come on now, let's get out of here.
Where are you going?
We're going to a joyride in the Nash Rambler with pulled down seats. Miss Haggers.
Okay, so not quite as festive as I was expecting. I'm filled with trepidation. So Loretta and Charlie are prepping for Loretta to take a trip to Dayton for the recording session. And while they're enjoying their reunion, the Fernwood Skyrider comes by, and foreplay is fair play. They have to look up the word foreplay, and I guess that surprises me. Perhaps I didn't know when the word foreplay became understood. I don't know when it came into the public concern, but apparently it was a fairly new phrase. And they look it up in the dictionary, but maybe don't explain it to everyone. Nowadays, at least in some circles, foreplay, the word foreplay, is seen as a little bit of an antiquated thought from the days when sex was thought as penis in vagina. And I think sex is more than that, but basically foreplay is, at the way that it's being read here, is taking the time to pleasure a wife before penis and vagina. That's not exactly as simple as sex is thought of nowadays, at least in some circles, but I think the thought of pleasuring your partner is valuable. So while we don't necessarily, or I don't necessarily think of foreplay as some kind of prelude, but really more as the eroticism in your relationship, just using that and exploring pleasure with your partner, this might have been a very new thought. Even today, I think probably there are some people who still think of sex as just genital to genital contact. In any case, they laugh about it because they have a fairly healthy sexual relationship. Their erotic relationship has no problems or lacks anymore. And Charlie is, just in case, going to stay and make sure that he keeps his job, which is sadly a bad idea, as we find out later. And then at the Shumway residence, Martha tries to make a turkey salad sandwich without any turkey in it. And in the 1970s, vegetarian options were non-existent, practically. I'm sure something existed, but when I was going vegetarian in the late 80s, things were hard to come by. Nowadays, there are many, many options. You can just go to the grocery store, and in any case, Montgomery Monk, the deprogrammer, shows up in a mysterious fog. He seems quite like a joke, so this will be our comedic content for a little while, but the deprogramming has begun, and Martha is concerned. And the Gimbals, again. Garth is angry that police have been called, and I can understand that there's anger because of that. I don't think anything that he does is justified, but I know that he would be angry after that. And he leaves Patty alone for a moment, and that's when Mary shows up. And it's clear that Mary really does know what's going on. Tom might have some inkling as well, they're next door neighbors, or they're neighbors at least. In this case, Mary offers the Ms. magazine, and you can see Pat recognizing herself in that photo on the cover. But Pat plays it off. Pat says things are great at home and denies everything that Mary is suggesting, until Mary asks. She still plays it off, Pat. She still says that he hits me a little bit. And this is not a little bit. TV bad, where things are not visible, right? But we know. Mary suggests biting Garth. I personally feel like that would escalate the situation. I know that with Tom, when he was trying to get Mary to have sex and she didn't want it, she kicked him in the nuts. And that stopped Tom. I think that escalating with Garth could go very badly. And Garth comes in after Mary leaves, and the fight does escalate. Pat rips his shirt and slaps him, and that's where we're left. And I don't know what the reaction is going to be, but I'm scared. So, since yesterday's episode, I watched a psychological analysis of the Benoit murders, which was the wrestler Chris Benoit murdering his family. It's a complicated story, but the doctor in that video who was talking about the mental state of Chris Benoit, what his suggestion was in cases of violence was that there needs to be an intervention. Something needs to come between the partners and separate them somehow. And not necessarily separate, but in the case of a couple that is working together to get through this problem, then it would be a very rigorous and long course of counseling. So not just 6 to 8 visits, but ongoing counseling. And that's in the case that the couple wants to stay together, as Pat insists is what she wants. And Pat loves Garth. And as awful as the situation may be, she's going to stick in it, which I don't really admire, and I don't get it. But I'll say that that's her point of view. So she's not going to leave Garth. She's going to stay there. She's not going to take Mary's offer to stay at their home. And perhaps that's noble, but it sounds really not very smart to me. I think Pat needs to get out. So then we get a scene with Loretta at the bus station and just doing her best to mind her own business as creepy ass Jake Walters, and I had to look up that scene so I could remember his name, approaches. As soon as I realized that he said his name out loud, I had a feeling that he'd be a character we'd be seeing more of, and I expect that's where we're going. A few thoughts that I have here at the immediate meeting of Loretta and Jake, which is, first of all, Loretta is giving off no interest in anything but her magazine. And as soon as Jake approaches her, she shells. She kind of creates a little wall around herself. Jake does not read the body language to say, go the F away. And he is pushy, and to be honest, I feared some kind of assault, which is still in the offing, and I really don't want to see that. She continues to push away, then the bus gets called finally. What I'll assume is a barfly starts a fight with Jake. Somehow Loretta gets knocked out. I do not understand how the attendant at the bar could let a strange man take that woman away. But essentially, Loretta is kidnapped. None of this is okay. Her luggage is sitting underneath the bar. Yeah, this is dreadful. And I mean, I am filled with dread. So, everyone, that is our December 30th episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. We've got a lot of feelings, and there's a lot to talk about. Let's put that in the comments, because that's how we talk. Thank you for watching with me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending some time and investigating with me. We will see you New Year's Eve in Fernwood.